Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is a review of the great film Don't Look Up, although it's a little bit Marmite.
Disgusting.
So, Don't Look Up has been out for a little while now, and I've watched it twice. I know lots of other people have watched it twice. And the reason I say it's a little bit Marmite, it's an expression we have here, where some people absolutely love Marmite and some people absolutely hate it. There's no sort of, yeah, it's okay. It's either one thing or the other. And I think one of the things about Don't Look Up is the expectation wasn't managed that well, because it was meant to be a satire, slightly funny, a little bit ironic, on the climate. And the director was always saying, it's about climate change and how difficult it is to get people to listen. The whole world, politicians, nobody really wants to listen until it's too late. And then you actually watch the film, and it's about a meteorite hurtling towards Earth. And the Guardian review was quite scathing of, we all expected to see climate change. We didn't expect to see a meteorite hurtling towards Earth. Well, if you listen to my kind of story theory lectures, I go on about the thing about a ticking clock is absolutely vital to any plot. Maybe one narrative ticking clock that goes across, arcs across the whole piece, be that a reality series, a game show, or a film. And then, of course, there's lots of little ticking clocks in between. Will they, won't they? Can they overcome this barrier? And that's the way most drama, most anything, in fact, everything is constructed. There has to be a ticking clock. Well, unfortunately, climate change is a long ticking clock. It's not going to be quick, although these storms, sadly, if you do get a tree fall on you, it's going to be a quick ending. And very sorry for all the people that have lost their lives in the storms that we've had here. Thankfully, not too many. But the fact is, climate change is going to be a slow, painful thing if we don't do something about it now. And it's going to involve mass migration from the very hot areas of the world. It's going to involve people on low-level islands having to be evacuated. And I'm sure as they look out their front door and they see the sea coming towards them, they think it's as immediate as a meteorite coming to Earth. So I do understand it. But the point of the film is it needed something definite, something finite, something final, actually, that was going to happen, that had to have something done about it. And a meteorite hurtling towards Earth was that thing. Now, you can argue that that's a metaphor for climate change, but the film isn't really about any of those things. It's about the trouble in finding a voice, in being heard, and the problems that modern politics has around that. We have a lot of narcissistic leaders throughout the political leaders of the world, a lot of people who are self-interested, building up vast swathes of wealth off the back of their own country's GDP. And for what? If global warming isn't going to be selective on who it hurts, and I suppose if you have got thousands of billions of dollars or rubles or whatever in the bank, you might be able to build a big air conditioning unit and a bubble. But it's not going to be selective. It's going to affect everybody. Especially with food shortages and crop failures and all of that kind of stuff. So it's all serious stuff. But the point about Don't Look Up is Leonardo DiCaprio, who's brilliant, Jennifer Lawrence, who, of course, can do no wrong in it, but is also brilliant, are trying to get the president, played by Meryl Streep, to listen and to do something. And to do something soon and quickly, because there's a limited amount of time. And first of all, the president, played by Meryl, desperately tries to work out how she can benefit from this crisis, how it can make her numbers go up in the polls. Then they get a billionaire of a huge corporate, a private corporate, making millions out of technology. Lots of parallels there. And again, what are they really doing? Are people that have become super rich seem to be building spaceships? And I don't know how that's really going to do anything to stave off global warming. They might argue that, some of the technology from our space program is going to help global warming. Is it? It seems to me there would be better, not so glamorous ways of spending their money, like finding ways of scrubbing carbon out of the atmosphere, and those kind of things. However, this is the world we live in. And the president asks the owner of this big private company, technology company, to help out. And ultimately, it all becomes a bit of an argument about money and kudos and ego. It really is good. I don't think it's Marmite at all. I liked it both times I watched it, and I would probably watch it again, and the younger people in my family watched it. One of the more talked about ones is the fact that one of the senior generals, when DiCaprio and Lawrence first go to the White House to meet the president, they're kept waiting, and they obviously get hungry and need some snacks. So the general, who's there with them, goes and finds them some snacks, and he comes back with coffee and some, I don't know, M&Ms and some bags of chips, and he charges them. He says, oh, well, that cost me $10.80 or whatever. And people couldn't work out why. Anyway, later on in the film, Jennifer Lawrence goes out and finds out that all the snacks are free. And she comes back and she becomes obsessed by it. Why would he do that? He's got the money. Why would he charge us for snacks that are free? He's just stolen $10 off us. And of course, again, that's another metaphor for the fact that the rich get richer, just because they can. And hugely rich people or well-off people do not splash the cash, and people that own big technology companies, are not splashing the cash. What they're doing is spending it on vanity projects and sending themselves and various other people up into space and all of that kind of thing. And this general is kind of just a metaphor for that. He's charging them money because he can, and why shouldn't he? And probably nobody's really going to question him. You don't say to a 5-star general, oi, you've just nicked 10 quid off me. Probably hugely embarrassing. And that's really what underpins the whole movie. The fact that ordinary, regular folk, even if they're eminent scientists, find it hard to fight against the ego and narcissism of politics. And in the end, it won't do any of us any good at all. I loved the film. The effects were really good. The way it all played out was really clever. Some of it was very, very funny, and some of it was very thought-provoking and very sad. And I'll just give you a quick view of Netflix website. And here it is. Says Leonardo looking up. And it says it's an offbeat, provocative and witty film. There are some great performances in there from all sorts of people, which I can never remember the names of. Came out in 2021, 2 hours, 18 minutes long. I don't think that's too long. Oscar nominated, and it's really very, very good. So I would thoroughly recommend Don't Look Up. It is a kind of thought-provoking, not a family film, but certainly mid-teens and upwards, and great performances. Jennifer Lawrence is brilliant. Meryl Streep in particular plays this, wildly narcissistic president. Her son, who's brilliant, a brilliant character in this, but her son is there. And a couple of years ago, we wouldn't have thought, we'll never have a presidency or indeed a Downing Street in the UK populated by friends of and cronies and members of the family. Look what happened when Mr. Trump was in power, and look what happened when Mr. Johnson, or still is, in power here, and the alleged influence that his wife has on government policy, all the friends that the ruling party in the UK seem to have in government, and the sweetheart deals that were done during COVID. It all rings true in this film. And if this film had come out 10 years ago, we'd have all gone, oh, you'll never have a president like that. It's public service. That's why people become presidents. No, sadly not. I think in both the UK, probably Russia, and a lot of other countries, and America, we've shown that presidents and prime ministers and leaders become that way because they can, and because they are egotistical maniacs. And that's really what this film, in my opinion, is about. If you want to hear more about the inside workings of television, or maybe you're looking at a career in television, there's some more videos, and all you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can get all of that right here, right now.